Today is October 3rd, 2015, and we're watching the Northeast Pacific Water Vapor Loop. We've got three low pressures. There's one here, there's one right over California, which is an upper level low, mid and upper level low, and one over here, moving through the middle of the country. And this system here is supposed to drop down into California and deliver rain. But if we look at the infrared map, that doesn't seem likely. Right here, it's just very dry all through California. We'll have to wait and see what happens over the High Sierra. They're forecasting snow at 7,000 feet. But looking at this map, I just don't see how we're going to get rain out of that. And the reason is because they've got a HAARP transmitter all through this core right here. All right, and that's preventing any it's preventing the system from convecting and generating rain bands like what we're seeing right here and over here. So we've got a HAARP transmitter on this, and that is weakening the system. This one here, and this one over California is really getting some heat, and to me, this does not look like we're going to get rain. The skies are clear in LA today, Los Angeles. There are no aerosols being sprayed, which is interesting. Usually on a rain forecast, we sometimes will see the jets spraying in the skies, but that's not happening today. And we have very low pressure. We've got 29.85 inches. We've got humidity, relative humidity of 43.7%. And it's sunny and clear, about 79 degrees, and the dew point is almost 55 degrees. Okay. But yet they're forecasting rain out of this system. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Right now it's got a HAARP transmitter on it, and there is no precipitation occurring. We can look at this in a few different maps. Here's the infrared once again. By the way, there's a couple of tropical storms out here by Hawaii, which they're keeping an eye on. This one here mainly is getting close to the Big Island. And we see that some of that moisture is feeding into this system right here, this long tail, which is being fed by this down here. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now here is a close-up of the California coast, west coast. And we can see that low pressure dropping down right here. They've got a transmitter right here putting heat on that. And that's why we're not getting any rain visible on these radar maps. That may change, but right now it looks like they are not going to let that deliver rain. That's a mid and upper level low, and it should be delivering rain just like these two guys right here. All right, let's go to the, this is the infrared loop for the same map. And there is a area of rainfall right here, which is moving through Oregon. So we'll just have to keep an eye on this. We have the High Sierra all through here. Things could change, but we'll just have to watch and see what happens. Here's the pressure map, the surface analysis map. And they're indicating that this is a gale here right offshore. And then we have another one right here. This is that big one that they've got the transmitter on. And then we have this low here, which is supposed to move down into the area. And look at all these cold fronts right here, here, and here. Way out on the far, almost, well, this is the West Pacific here. So we've got a lot of cold fronts. And we have this low right here, which is got a HAARP transmitter on it, and a high pressure, which won't allow any of that to get into California. All right, let's go ahead and look at the East Coast. All right, this is Hurricane Joaquin we're watching. This is a Category 4, almost a Category 5 storm. It has 155 mile per hour winds. High pressure right here was installed to prevent this storm from moving into the Gulf of Mexico, and we can see that this high pressure is now advancing to the east and is pushing this storm out into the Atlantic. So this storm is moving because this high pressure is pushing it into the Atlantic. That's what's happening. And the high pressure that is installed here is still there, and it's cutting off. That is, this pressure here, high pressure here and here, is cutting off this moisture field into the Carolinas. So we're watching that happen right here. This is all going to be cut off, and they are surrounding this storm. By tomorrow, this storm will probably be surrounded as it drifts northeast into the Atlantic. So right now it's moving sort of in a east-northeast pattern, sort of at a slightly east-northeast trek. But right here we've got another problem. This is a low spinning up counterclockwise. We can see that happening right there, and that is going to be moving right towards the east coast. So we'll have to keep an eye and see what they do next. This is all high pressure here. We got clockwise movement. That's going to wrap a lot of this stuff back towards the east coast. All this moisture, that's going to help to move this back into the east coast. So this whole thing is not over by any means. As they push this out eastbound, more and more of this moisture will get caught up in this clockwise rotation here, and that's going to be a problem. So they're going to have to maintain some high pressure through here, and we'll just have to watch that and see what happens. All right. Here is the infrared loop showing the intensity. We've got an eye wall on this storm now, and once they get it out into open waters, they can steer it and break it down a little bit. But the main thing is to cut off this moisture field, which is just drowning all the states here with water. So that's been accomplished. They've cut this off, and now it's just a matter of getting this thing surrounded and killing it off. All right, so let's look at the hurricane map. Joaquin with 155 mile per hour winds, core pressure of 933 millibar, and moving northeast, they say, at 18 miles per hour. So northeast is 45 degrees, and that's really not happening here. They're reporting northeast, but in fact, that storm is moving east-northeast, mostly east right now, because of the fact that we have a lot of we've got another low pressure here spinning counterclockwise, and if they move this thing to the northeast, that's going to bring all of this moisture right back into the towards the east coast. So they're going to have to push this thing very carefully out, pretty much in a due east pattern, to because of this high pressure that's looping everything around. Everything's going to wrap around like a pinwheel. Okay. All right. So this high pressure right here, everything's looping around like a pinwheel, and so all that will that is, if they move this as forecasted, then we've got this moisture field problem again going into the east coast. So that's basically it. We can look at the well, that's it pretty much. So we'll do an update later, and that's it.